And I have to say, it is not just about EU students. It's also about international students from outside the EU as well. I know like this is quite an interesting one because a lot of people would have thought, oh, it doesn't really concern us because we still pay the same fees, like there's nothing changed. But in fact, it is, and there is something that changed around it. I'm not sure like you know about this, but since Brexit took place in 23rd of June, there has been a sharp rise of hate crime in the UK. So there's a couple of accidents I heard about, like Polish peoples that are living in the UK. They've been abused, like verbally, physically abused by UK citizens. Obviously not all of them, by numbers, like a couple of people who are absolutely have no idea what does it actually mean, and then they just say like, you're not welcome here, you don't speak our language, go away, and that kind of things. It has been reported, and even I myself as well. I mean, not in Sheffield, I love Sheffield so much. When I was in Manchester, I went down to Manchester for like a little bit, and I was being told, I was actually being asked to go home to China, when my fact is actually, when the fact that is I'm actually not from China even, I'm from Malaysia. I'm not offended by the fact that they asked me to go back to China because I do speak Mandarin Chinese and I'm actually Chinese from Malaysia. But it's the fact that they assume when I look like this, I'm from China. And also second thing, they asked me to go back to my home country. So there's no point, like, you know, I feel upset because they apparently don't understand what is meant by Brexit somehow. They think like they're going to get rid of, they wanting to say, they say something about like even us, who's actually not EU citizen, they were actually targeting at us at the same time as well. So it is actually quite ridiculous about how shallow-minded people could be. Like they just didn't know what they are actually talking about. They just say, go away. So because of all this thing, I think there has been a lot of concerns around parents, you know, like parents who are about to send their students coming over here to the UK when there is media reporting about hate crimes happening in the UK, someone else being stabbed, someone else being bitten up on the street because of speaking of a foreign language. I think this is one thing that really worried a lot of international students' parents, and since then I would say even international students' number from outside the EU has actually dropped. And I think like one of these like couple of things where after Brexit happened, I think a lot of people were thinking about more, is it because like this country doesn't welcome me anymore? And I think for me it's very upsetting for people to think like this because I come to this country not being able to speak English. I don't speak English as my first language. So now, after 5 years, I've been able to commute and communicate in English, even though sometimes still stuck and I still can't pronounce certain words like really clearly. But I receive so much from all the friends, work colleagues and a lot of other people that have helped me throughout my whole 5-year journey. And I now being able to stay in the UK to work, I appreciate what I really, really get. So when I heard someone else telling me that I'm not sure about coming to the UK anymore because I feel like this country doesn't welcome me. And that's why this is the things that I'm currently working on, which is the We Are International project. And you can tell like from here, it's say We Are International. The idea of We Are International is not just about for international students, it's the idea of everybody is international.